Hola alumnos, ahora estudiamos I y los números 0 a 30. So we're going to be studying the verb I and numbers 0 to 30. This information is found in your textbook on pages 12 and 13. Now, when we are talking about the verb I, we need to understand that I, Hay, means there is, and it can also mean there are. Additionally, if we're using the verb I in a question, it means is there or are there. I is used to express the existence of people, places, and things. For example, if we want to say that, or if we want to ask the question, how many beautiful girls are in the Spanish class? We would ask, ¿cuántas chicas bonitas hay en la clase de español? When we respond, we could give a number. So since we're going to be learning our numbers today, let's say that there are 20 beautiful girls in the Spanish class. So we would respond to that question by saying, hay 20 chicas bonitas en la clase de español. So as you see, we can use I in both the question form as well as the answer form. And it does mean there is or there are. It can also mean is there or are there. Now, we touched on it just a little bit in that example. We are going to learn our numbers today. We're going to learn numbers 0 through 30. So just as in the video when we were discussing el alfabeto, now we are going to practice the pronunciation of our numbers, los números. So I am going to say the numbers, and I'm going to give you we're going to have a brief pause so that you have an opportunity to repeat what I'm saying. Okay, so let's begin. Cero, uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis, siete, ocho, nueve, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Muy bien, muy bien. Okay, so as you notice, when we are discussing our numbers, we have a couple of combinations. When we are discussing numbers 16 through 19, we are literally expressing the fact that it is 10 and 6. What happens is, the way that you see it in the book, is that these numbers, rather than writing them out individually, having three numbers, 10 and 6, saying, well, not so much three numbers, having two numbers and saying and in the middle, we're smushing it together and making it one word. So instead of saying 16, we will say 16. The same thing happens with our numbers 21 through 29. Instead of saying 20 and 1, 20 y uno, we smush it together and we're going to end up saying 21. Now, please make sure that you go back into your book, look at the list, and make sure you practice how to properly spell these words. After today, you will be required to know how to spell your numbers correctly. Okay, so now let's discuss one of these numbers in particular. It's actually the number 1. There are 3 different ways to say uno. And these 3 different ways are based on 3 different situations in which we would encounter. The first situation is when we are counting. When we count, we are of course going to say uno. For example, uno, dos, tres. Additionally, there's another way we are going to use the word uno. This situation occurs when we use uno, or we want to say one, before a singular masculine noun. What happens is, before a singular masculine noun, we will drop the O and change uno to the form un, U-N, U-N-A. So if we wanted to say there is a large desk, we will say hay un escritorio grande. The reason why we are going to say un is because escritorio is a masculine singular noun. The third form of uno that we will use occurs when we are using this word before a singular feminine noun. In that case, uno will be written and pronounced as una. We're changing the O to an A. So, if we want to say there is a large house in my neighborhood, we would say hay una casa grande en mi barrio. The reason why we are saying una is because casa is a singular feminine noun. Just as much as uno changes, we also have another number that changes, and that number is the number 21, 21. 21 will change to 21 before a plural masculine noun. 21, of course, having the spelling minus the O, we're going to take the O off at the end, and we're going to add an accent mark on the U. So if we wanted to say there are not 21 men in the Spanish class, we will say no hay 21 hombres en la clase de español. The reason why we are going to say 21 is because hombres is a masculine plural noun. So make sure you go back and practice your pronunciation and the proper way to spell each of these numbers, los números, 0 a 30. And until next time, nos vemos.